Travel, draw, let your imagination soar. Travel, draw, bring art to every door. No need to be perfect, just have some fun. Travel, draw for everyone. From silly doodles to masterpieces bright, we'll make something special day and night. Colors explode with each new design. In Travel, draw, it's always fine. Travel, draw, let your imagination soar. Travel, draw, bring art to every door. No need to be perfect, just have some fun. Travel, draw for everyone. So grab a brush or a pen or a crayon. Make a mark any way you can.
And we are live. And apparently Steph. So, let me restart the freaking VTuber. Which means I probably have to restart my camera. Let's see here. Want to make sure I don't disconnect the mic. Oh. Blah, blah. So, it's been a few days. Well, it's mainly been because bad health, and whatnot. So, but yeah, we're doing an art stream for a change. We haven't done it in 2 weeks, but we're here. So, today's subject is about women's fiction, or current women's fiction, as a new New York Times bestseller comes from this category. We'll be talking a little bit about that, and we'll be talking about why smut has become the go-to literature these days, and part of it is just really bad readership, I believe. And the other is who reads books. So it's like, I say that as an author and as an artist. And we are currently redoing our novel, 11 Kingdoms. I don't have an exact date when we will be re-releasing this yet. I was hoping for October. I don't know if I want to make that window. But we'll do some illustration today. I can show off a little bit of what's going on in the comics, because I've been relatively quiet in most of that for a lot of my fans, a lot of my viewers. It's basically, I had to take some time off. I still have to at this point, because I'm starting a new job. It's very brief time that I'm using this job, so it's more a matter of what I feel works and whatnot. And so one of the things I'm doing right now, as you're seeing, is reworking the logo so it's more readable. And yeah, I could have just selected and redrew this, but I kind of want to keep that rough pen, like it's an older sort of feather pen quill nature, but have the sort of that rough look on the word kingdoms for 11 Kingdoms. And then I'm going to do the 11. And in between it, I'm going to have to do a small layer of white, just a hint, so because in the past, and I can zoom out and show you guys, the readability of the G and the D have always been an issue. And one of the things I have to do is I do this new book design for it to come out on hardcover and audiobook. is I need to be able to separate the 11 and the kingdoms for the spine. And while the logo's cool, and I did it back in, 2013, 2014, it needed to be updated and be cleaner for actual publication, which is what we're doing now. Well, let's talk about the current New York Times bestseller on the list right now. Is a book called Morning Glory Milking Farm, a monster bait romance. I kid you not. Let's get over to the talk real quick. Yeah, this is the #1 New York Times bestseller. It is about a woman who goes to work on a dairy farm. And this is a modern woman, so the story takes place in modern times. And milks male minotaur. Yeah. They made a novel of this series. I blame Twilight, because your sorry ass started this crap. But, yeah. One thing I will not ever write is smut. And it's because I don't feel my personal experiences are anything worth influencing the writing of other people's enjoyment. And even if I try to, use my imagination and be creative about it, I don't think I'd ever be able to think of, that hot, sexy. People can do it. People, and I'm not gonna poo-poo on CM Costa. Where, and it's all her, from what I understand. Or at least, what they identify as. It is a her. And I will admit, this is not the first time I've run across Minotaur love. It's something. Okay. It's not the first time. I am not reading this book. It's not my kind of thing. I never was into the smut books. I really don't understand the love of them. But, yeah. I can't come in and be like, I'm going to be a prude. Oh, so daft. The intellectual drops out. That at the same time, I would be like, what the hell? What the hell is this crap? And I mean, I won't call the genre out, because this is a growing concern with women's readers. And the readership are all the same people. It's tends to be more liberal women that read this schlock. And they tried to read this into their fantasy, and in it, a lot of viewpoints come in, very leftist viewpoints, but at the same time, very haughty romance is put into play in this stuff. So it's kind of like, what the hell I'm gonna go back to drawing here. Are they really doing? And is this kind of crap what people really would read? And the thing is, I feel reading has become a chore for generations after mine. So I'm Gen X. I came out. I used to read books like right, left growing up. And it was the go-to thing. Now, I do feel come, you know, millennial when it came to reading and writing is like you had to read, of course, what they designated you have to read in school, which was always the case, um, of something that had to be done. But you also had to pretty much, you had a lot of people reading fan fiction at the time. And fan fiction is how we got 50 Shades of Grey. It's how we got a lot of books that spewed off of that. And that crowd started going deeper and deeper in fantasy to the point where we are now. And it's not all millennial. I'm sure there's Gen X. I'm sure there's Boomer. I'm sure there's C that are into these smut novels. But, I mean, back in the day when I was in school, you could not talk about smut. You could not read smut in school. And this crap is going straight to schools. This is absolutely being something. I mean, we could talk about, the graphic novel situation with the trans community. As the trans artist myself, I don't let my own series go to a certain age group. I haven't stated in my books that these are not suitable for certain younger age groups, but there are books out there that are way over top. And mine are actually stories. Theirs tend to be like, oh, we have this scenario where, this child is living this life in this way, and we need to. It's disturbing. It's disturbing. And as of someone who reads novels and reads books, and given my time in reading has definitely decreased over the years. That's simply because I have other things in life to deal with, like work, like making a living, like surviving. And occasionally I'll pick up a book and I'll be like, hey, what's this one about? Am I gonna like it? And when I see stuff like this come out, and I'd be like, what the hell am I even looking at? Why did someone even read something like this? And it's kind of disturbing. It really is. Okay. Let's see here. All right. Now, what? Why didn't I edit? Select. Why did I not get white on this layer? What the hell? Oh, hold on. I know why. Nope. Undo. Select. Reselect. Invert. That's why. That's why I'm not getting it. Okay. So, when we talk about the rise and the love of these smut, and I mean, there's no other word to really use on these. It is smut for novels. It's curious to see how people rise up, and it's like, and can it be damaging to relationships? Yes, 100%. And it's like, you're just being, prudish about this whole situation. And I'm like, as a writer, there's certain things that I feel uneasy to give my audience. Um, I'm not afraid to show dark moments of emotion, of nature of humanity. But I will, have the characters, slapping cheeks up in the bed. So it's like, well, I mean, that's being prudish of him. And it's like, it's more trying to be authentic to me as a writer than it is me being prudish. And I mean, I can admit, I mean, I've had my own share of sexual exploits in life. I don't, it's not something I would love to share and be like, oh, hey, this is what life is and what conquers my feelings and mine and whatnot. And a lot of my writing, so characters like Tetra and Kyle, who have a strong relationship in Demon Blade and have that, try to write them as true teenagers, which are awkward and difficult to, get their emotions and sprint and get together. And that's how I try to write them. What this is writing is literally just pure sexualized fantasy. Do I feel it could be done better in this day and age? Maybe. So, and let me use my own novel example. Okay. 11 Kingdoms. Those who don't know, I wrote this novel back in 2013. It is being re-released in paperback, hardcover, paperback, and audiobook. So we're going to be re-releasing this series. The main plot of this story focuses in on being true to oneself and finding a way to fight through the anxiety one has in life and as life changes and all that. I barely cover a romance in this book. And it's two different people that the main character has a relationship with that is somewhat romantic. One is the tragic, and the other is the slow burn. So the tragic romance is like, oh, I fall in love with you, and I want to, be with you and all that. And then immediately the relationship is destroyed. The other is sort of this slow burning relationship where the character's there giving support and not expecting anything, but kind of like playing out a character. Very much so. If anybody sort of built on the romanticized smut novel relationship, it is the guy in that book and 11 Kingdoms. Named Reeks, Charlie Reeks, also known as Alex. I'm forgetting his last name, but considering it's a viewpoint of two different worlds in 11 Kingdoms, the current world, which is a sci-fi element, because it's 50 years from now in the book. And then the readiness of that world going into this fantasy game style world where we all think of, oh, hey, I'm gonna eat this apple, and how will that look to somebody who's actually in the game, actually living this life? And I describe that kind of stuff. It's like I describe it one meal where the two are sitting and eating. I mean, Fawn, the main character Fawn, she's like, you look like a football player trying to eat his food before it's taken away from him. So it's like, that's the way they're eating. While they're just kind of casually, normally eating food like a normal human being does. But the game plays, tricks and elements to the mind that really bring out the intrigue and whatnot. And for me, I love to tell stories about emotion, about consciousness and whatnot. I don't think I need to ever write or read. I don't know. I might be able to read. I'll have to give it a try sometimes. But I don't know if I'm going to sit here and read Morning Glory Milking Farm. I don't think that's my kind of book. I really don't. I don't think the smut is really for me. But we're going to be chatting about this, and we're going to go into 2 articles about the concept of these smut books as we go in tonight, and do some of the illustration work and do some of the comic work live while we do it. It's going to be interesting. And I will also read from a chapter from 11 Kingdoms. So it's like, okay, we have the story here. This is how I write. This is how I come up with an idea and concept. And so, right now, I literally started this before stream. So I needed to get Fawn's sort of shoulder pad. I guess it's like, I know there's a proper term for it, but shoulder, piece that she's got on here. I needed to kind of get it to be very metallic looking and functional. So bringing out of the, mystery of, the way one person would see it, to, bring life to it, bring real life to it. Because the story, as I said earlier, it's very much about bringing reality into a fictional world, and fictional world being influenced reality and 11 Kingdoms, and what is the human soul as this unfortunate individual gets their consciousness ripped from their body and forced into a game. And how they can live, all that kind of stuff. So, like I said, as an author, I kind of like bringing a little bit of, realism, but emotion, raw emotion into characters and personality. So when I'm dealing with somebody like Petra and Demon Blade, where she has to deal with a divisive notions and the dark past she has to deal with. Um, I mean, I can show you right now a page. Well, I don't want to show it because it's a preview, or it's a bit of a spoiler. But yeah, writing this kind of stuff right here, where the characters dealing with the dark temptation in their body and their emotions and their mind, and how it rits at their heart and sort of brings the fear out, brings the anxiety, brings the issues that build them as a character. And so when I write Tetra, especially, I have to keep that in mind. It's like, you know, I need to tell a joke, or it's a very serious moment here, but I always have to remember, why is she like that? Why is she hurt? Why is she in this pain? And I've not explained it to readers, but I 100% know exactly what happens, why it happens, how it happens, to the detail. It's like, I mean, I've revealed a few things. One, the scar on her neck is made severely open from several stab wounds from an individual. This individual haunts her. He's known as the Legless Man in 11 Kingdom, or I mean, Demon Blade. And he has a real name. He's based off of somebody who's real. But at the same time, I have to be more unique in understanding. So it's like, well, what is this person's life? What were they doing before they became the Legless Man? Have they always had that darkness to come and pollute the purity of a small child? And that's how I build up Tetra's darkness in what she has to deal with in her life. Then I could do, like, another character. We'll use another one of my characters. We'll use Ida. So a lot of people are learning about Ida. We had Love Potion Lament a few months ago that showed their past. And they were kind of a little shit. They were the annoying child to their friend. They love to tease. They love to be a little bit of a jerk. That the heart is in the right place, and it's where Ida is different than Tetra is pretty much, they both have the heart of a main character where, interact and whatnot. But one is acting on who they are personally. They know who they are, they need to work through, and that's Tetra. Whereas Ida is trying to find who she is. She's trying to figure that out. And it's good to show this. She's this strong-minded, solidly determined individual who will deal with their world coming crashing down. And there is no trauma with Ida. What we've shown in Love Potion Lament is the trauma, which was nothing. Absolutely nothing. They are the normal, quote unquote, child of their parents. no, dramatic backstory. You're not gonna get backstory from her. You'll get backstory from other characters, but not from her. So it's like, I'm showing the pure character here as they present, and then bring the world crashing in on them, versus a character who's been affected by their past and having to build themselves up. And then when I do a character like Fawn, or her real world comparison, Jamie. So we got Jamie over here on the left. Well, yeah, still the left. On the left. So we got Jamie on the left, Fawn on the right. They're the same character, but it's like, one is the video game character that in the story is thrust in the limelight. And as the story goes through, it explains how they came to be in the limelight. Even though Jamie suffers horribly from anxiety disorder. And how Jamie can survive being this character that's driven to the limelight and then broken down. And I kind of cover that with the chapter I'll read tonight. But yeah, let's get more on the topic of smut. So, our smut, thinking of the inside of the internet's favorite genre. Molly and Tullis, and this was done last year. A little over a year ago. Well, under a year ago. Because it's the end of September and we're at the beginning of September. But in 2023, romance novels generate over 1.44 billion in revenue, making it the highest earning fictional drama. While romance as a genre has been successful for decades, the past few years have seen an explosion in sales. There were 39 million printed copies of romance books sold in 12 months before May 2023, which is 50% of the increase of the previous year. So what's behind this publishing hurricane? The digitization of romance. Open door romance or smut. I don't feel open door romance is what smut is, okay? It's weird. It's a genre of novels that contains explicit on-page sexual scenes, in addition for their plot lines and erotica. Now, this is the problem. This is looked on as acceptable reading material. Yet a guy reading a nudie magazine, Playboy, and that's unacceptable. That's bad behavior. But this is equal level, if not worse, detail in a sexual relationship in public form. And women, And I mean, I can't argue. I mean, yes, I'm a sap for romance myself. I love to watch romantic shows and read manga that covers romantic stories, but it's absolutely very disturbing how far it goes. And we don't just see it in novel form. We also see it in webcomics. We see it in a lot of despite Webtoon saying it will show certain explicit material, it does. Because you have my favorite laugh at romance, which is I'm the evil character falling in love with the evil character, blah 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 blah, the evil Duchess sort of scenario. And there's so many web comics on that. It's absurd. And it's tiring. It really is. But now, then we look at the novels, and it's just as bad, if not worse. I mean, yes, I have some light novels that I enjoy. Yes, I have a very expensive copy of Spice Mule, which has a fantasy romance. Now, mind you, in that case, the girl is a wolf god. In the story, and she falls in love with a, simple traveling merchant. And a lot of the story is about versatile and whatnot. And yeah, I have the $200 leather copy of that. But it gives me the full story. But it's not smut. They're not sitting there and talking about how she's being ravaged by him. It's or how they're pleasing each other. It's more the subtle play of romance. And I feel the subtlety is going out of sort of the novels these days. So when we get into here, the open door romance of genre novels containing explicit underpaid sexual scenes in addition with their plot lines erotica describes the books almost entirely made of explicit scenes with minimal plot or additional details, which is true. They don't have a plot, or they have a plot. It's very, very basic plot. I mean, I called out Twilight. Its plot sucks. It really does. If you look at Twilight, excluding the fantastical romance of it, you got nothing. You got maybe one or two encounters with a rival gang of vampires that are problematic, or werewolves that are, that have the romantic tension between everything. And it's empty calories of a novel, in my opinion. And you need to kind of digest the story. And it's disturbing when, as an author, that you're not really writing novels these days to tell a story. You're writing novels to get sexual gratification off of. And the very people loving these series are the same people back in when I was a child that would poo-poo any kind of relationship in a novel. And it's like, oh, they're being a harlot. Oh, oh dear. Oh, but it's like, oh, jeez. Yeah. You wear a skirt. It's above the knee. You're a slut. Back then. These days, or there are women out there that are wearing skirts that are flat out showing everything. And this is the kind of stuff that gets them off. It's like, Jesus. And is there any reason why there's a declining birth rate in the world when this is the stuff we have to look at? Males cannot compete with both driven. Honestly, give me the good set of pegs. I'll fall for it. Yeah, but give me an actual person. Give me someone with emotions and feeling. This, I don't even feel there's emotion and feeling with these guys that they have in the books. It's just like pure, oh, he's hot. His pectorals rippling to sweat, beads of sweat, going down them into his passion. It's absurd. It's absurd. And I mean, it's not to say these books weren't around when I was a kid, because Fabio was the lead thing when I was a kid. He was always on those romance novels where he'd be like, oh, this dashing, lovely man and that would save a woman from her cruel husband. Oh, and it's like, yeah. It's not good writing. It's not good writing. And it disturbs me that we're becoming a situation where the good writing is being drowned out by the smut. And it's like, come on. When people say, oh, we're not getting good stories these days, and your idea of a good story is a freaking minotaur being just, I will say, cock-milked in this story. That's literally what it is. In fact, let me do the reading here. Violet is the typical down on her luck millennial, mid-20s, overeducated, drowning in debt, and on the verge of moving into her parents' basement. When the lifeline appears in the form of a very unconventional job in neighboring Tamarind Creek, she has no choice but to grab at it with both hands. Morning Glory Milking Farm offers the full-time hours, full benefits, and generous pay with no experience needed. There's only one catch. The clientele is a grade A certified prime beef with madly meaty endowments. To banshee milking minotaurs isn't something Violet ever considered as a career option, but she's determined to turn on the opportunity into a reversal of fortune. With a stern, deep-voiced client begins to specially request her for her milking sessions, maintaining her professionalism and keeping him out of her dreams. Easier said than done. Violet is resolved to make a dent in her student loans and afford a name brand orange juice, and a one-sided crush on her out-of-league minotaur is not part of her plans, unless her feelings aren't too one-sided after all. Morning Glory Farms is a short human monster romance. 60,000 K. So that's the word count. 60,000. So it's a very short novel. I am nowhere near that with 11 Kingdoms. We are 800 pages long in 11 Kingdoms versus 68. So mine is not a light read. So my book is completely in other territory than this one. Featuring a high, deep, slow burn with a lot of heart and guaranteed HEA. CWs are viewable on the author's website. It is the first book in the Tamarind Creek Monster romance series to be read as a standalone. Yeah. This is disturbing. It's embarrassing just to even sit here and read it to you. What this book is about. It really is. But so, get back to a little bit of the art. I need to calm down. So, writing characters. I mean, I kind of talked about this a little bit earlier when I was talking about how I would write Tetsu / Tedro. Mid-Demon Blade. But even coming into Fawn here. Jamie and Fawn in here. Has characters that has whatnot. One of the things that book disturbs me is that we were just describing is how It's trying to identify two millennials by saying, oh, well, they're, you're having trouble with money, you're having trouble with your job, you're not finding a job and making a living and whatnot. Yes, that is an issue. That is a problem issue that all sides need to look at in the world. So, I mean, yes, it is a problem. Problem being is, when you try to escape that to sexualized fantasy, you tend to start to lose your individuality, your little bit of sanity. Let's see, I'm trying to find where some of these marks are. There they. Well, I could try there. Right? Some of it. But yeah, when we discuss certain things, certain elements of personalities, of writing a character, it's kind of important to know what your character's like. Wait, Spider. I might ask, are you sick because the voice is not yours? A little bit of both. The mic we have, I've done it before and I'll do it here so people can hear. So,
there we go. Yeah.
It's a tin can. So, one, I'm trans, yes. But two, it's a tin can. The mic sounds horrible. So we kind of mix and blended a little bit, add a little bit more pitch to my voice to get this. But yeah. So, but yeah, I am sick. Today as well, so it doesn't help. That's fine. I just don't mind. I just want to make sure you're not struggling to speak or anything. No. I am struggling to speak, figure out the words as I go, but that's just me being, an artistic dumbass at times. Not autistic, artistic. But when we talk about characters, when we talk about developing somebody in a story with personality and whatnot, I always poo-poo Twilight because and I'm gonna keep poo-pooing Twilight because personality is dead in that novel. It really doesn't. When you talk about characters like what was her name? Bella in Twilight, you're not talking about a human being with emotions. You're talking about a sex-crazed lunatic that I stay with this. The right choice was Mike all along. For those who don't know, with Twilight, Mike was the guy that showed interest and went on a date with her in the second book. But he showed interest from book one. And he's a normal guy. And yeah, I mean, when we build a story around, you can build a story around, fanciful romance. I have no problem with that. It's just, don't try to make it sound like, oh, it's some amazing concept. It's smut. And when we get to the milking farm that we're kind of covering here, where it's a woman masturbating avatars. That's literally what the novel is. You're teasing enough character building stories into just pure porn. But porn that never could be achieved in film or television without immense amount of CGI. Maybe you could do it in a graphic novel, but even then, it's hard to swallow at times. Pun intended. There, I mean, it's really drawing the attention into those kind of things, and it's kind of just weird when we talk about it. But we do the show for topic and talk, and so we're gonna talk about it. So when we have a character, and I'll use my own characters here. So this series, 11 Kingdoms, you have Jamie here, who is a young early 20s artist that went into art basically to piss off her parents, and to kind of live the way she learned from her grandmother. It's filled with emotion, and it comes from her having bullied as a child and whatnot, and with that I can, write from experience. But when I come down to stuff like, her life is in danger from a psychopath in this novel, which has gotten a hold of computer program or computer virus that's affecting this game, that's literally affecting the devices that people are being hooked up to the game and ripping their consciousness from their bodies and having to deal with their life now, having to survive in a game world. And I mean, in a way you don't normally see an isekai or a light novel of such in certain places, where it'd be like, okay, I need to, or it's like, I'm living this world. It's like, I need to survive against the monsters. No, the worst survival is your environment, not just the monsters. It's your needing food, actually finding food, and in a world that's designed to be go and fight monsters and being able to survive just the night. And that's where a lot of my story comes into play with 11 Kingdoms. It's like I want to tell the story of this, young girl who has to deal with the world around her, literally after her. And it grows in the story to the point where the threat's less out of the game and more in real world, because there's this whole conversation going on in the real world about, hey, is this a computer program? Is this, deceiving us? Is this AI? Is this, trying to be a new life form? What is this? And how do we deal with this? And the key thing is that the world will immediately go into fear and panic and be like, no, we need to destroy this. And it's a human life. And I came up with this novel at the time of the Terry Schiavo case. Very much about our human life in a consciousness that is different than our own. Does it matter? And that's where I kind of come up with the story of Fawn and Jamie, to where I want this environment for them to grow and be characters together. Well, I mean, they're the same character. But I mean, develop as a person and have relationships and develop friendships and whatnot, and find a way for their own independence, their voice. And then I look at freaking milking a Minotaur, being the New York Times bestseller right now. I'm stunned. I'm stunned. And just, there's nothing I can say with my own creations. It's like, people would rather read that smut than come up with a decent story. And it's true. I mean, it shows. We have this scenario where this smut is really becoming the popular thing. And you go into a bookstore and there's dedicated sections to this. Now, mind you, I've run into this problem before, and it's when I initially was doing 11 Kingdoms years ago. I ran into this issue where the book industry is very much contained mostly by one side and one viewpoint. And if you stray from that, if you want to do something with more spiritual or emotional elements, you tend to get poo-pooed. You tend to get crapped upon, and people will be like, "No, we're not going to do this because it's not representing our company." And what's representing their company is a girl jacking off a Minotaur. Seriously, it's like, that's good for your company, but a story about raw human emotion, the existence and concept of a soul, that's not good. That's not good. No. You're acting like there's a best-selling book on that a concept. What was that? Oh yeah, it's called the Bible. Yes, a best-selling book on that kind of concept of what is the soul. I kind of wanted to do it without the biblical elements. 11 Kingdom does not go biblical. It's very much character-driven emotion, raw emotion. But it has action and whatnot. And that, as an author, I mean, that's the kind of stuff I love to read. I mean, I'm a fan of fantasy novels. It's when I was growing up, that's what I read. That's what spurred me on into writing, into drawing, coming up with ideas of stories. I have a series I have never released that I've been thinking about recently, and I was halfway through writing this webcomic or doing this webcomic. I mean, it is physically there. I could show you the pages. that is a sci-fi story about a person who grew up as an orphan, unwanted, unloved, finding out that they're actually the alien royalty that is the heir to the universe, essentially. But in a funny way, in a comedy way series, where the concept is the queen of this society goes and he has an egg going through insect concept and lays an egg within a human society or within a society, and that creature grows into whatever's the dominant species of that planet. But it will become the next queen and all that. And so, in that story, I wrote the concept of this young child not knowing what they were in life. They're living with somebody who showed them some kindness, brought them into their household, even though they have to deal with a crappy roommate. And all of a sudden, everybody in their life, well, immediate life, so everybody in the household, including animals, are taken by these alien robots that, because it's time for that child to take their place and grow into the next queen of the universe. And there's a lot of comedy. It's like taking the concept. So one of the elements was the Greys. So the noted alien species that a lot of people associate with aliens. I have them as these college, like, dumbasses that just basically are out there having frat parties and whatnot, doing alien pros on people just to be an asshole. And they're technically supposed to watch over this planet, but they didn't realize the future queen was on Earth, and that they needed to deal with the alien being in their society that they're supposed to oversee and whatnot, and not be taken in. But at the same time, they have this relationship with the, FBI or some government organization. I hadn't gotten far enough to writing them in as a government organization, but it'd be like, they realized too late their responsibility as these alien robots, which are drones of the queen, come into play. And these robots each have personality. The one that is the one in charge of the military actions on the ship is wants to be a suicide bomb. And constantly wants to blow herself up. And then you have the personalities of the individual characters. So you have the main character, who's very doubtful in their life. They don't realize if they fit in at all, ever, and don't understand, whether or not they have true friends. But they're having to live with these friends, these roommates, as they travel space. And you have the drunk party girl who just wants to, have adventure and flings with everything she comes across. You have the jock who's like, oh, I need to get, fit and exercise all the time. And our main character is the sci-fi nerd. They have very much elements. So I mean, this is a series I never released. I came to points as like, I don't know how I want to further carry that series. And then I came up with Witchin', and Witchin' has taken my time since. So I haven't really come back to the series, but I've been thinking a lot about the series. It's like, well, how will I ever bring the series back if I'm going to? Am I going to do anything with the series? And I mean, I kind of want to. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't have time to draw another series. I'm already doing 2 at a time, and it's a lot. It's a lot. So, I mean, to tell stories, to bring about characters, whether you use them or not, it's to dig a little bit more, what sparks them. And I mean, I did talk a bit about the trauma, the darkness around Tetra earlier. But in the case of 11 Kingdoms here that we're drawing the cover of, with Fawn, it's very much self-doubt. It's very much, can I survive? Because I just fell into a warden thing in Minecraft. Cool! I'm not sure what a warden is in Minecraft. I don't remember them. I've played Minecraft since 21. So, if it's something since then, it's new to me. A warden is a blind creature that does a crap ton of damage and will kill me in on the ground. Well, yeah, that's you're in trouble, eh? I do need to find the clip when we were playing years back, where we had like 6 or 7 freaking, what was it? They weren't Endermen. It was the what are the explosive ones? The I don't know why it's slipping my mind. It's been a while. But what a high risk, high reward. Yeah, high risk, high reward. Always. You gotta get out there. If you're going for mines in Minecraft, you need to find, the dangerous spots to dig to get anything out of them. Even if it's not digging. I haven't even seen the Minecraft movie yet. I think I have it available. I just haven't watched it. It might be on my list to watch this week then. Papers, thank you. Yeah, we had like 9 creepers behind us, and I only saw like 1 at a time. And we kept avoiding like so many of them. And then it was just like 6 at one time go off. And I'm like, creeper. And then just, that's like, right. It's a lot easier to show if I can remember when it was. But, I mean, if you get on our YouTube channel, you can find it. We had it back in the day. Heck, it might be before pre-I days. When we weren't using I. So right now, we're currently going through Baldur's Gate on Fridays and Stardew Valley on Sundays, although because I was sick on Saturday, and technically still am, we didn't do Sunday, and last week we didn't do last art stream, which is today stream. part of that is my own health. So, let's get back to a little bit of the talk here. Here, let's see here. So, defining smut books. What's the buzz about? Smut books are novels centered on explicit sexual content. They focus on physical intimacy, often vivid, detailed scenes. Unlike traditional romance, smut prioritizes passion over emotional arcs. Think of them as wild, untamed side love stories. They're bold, unapologetic. Readers crave the intensity and the escapism. Smut spans genres in the fantasy and thriller of historical fiction. So, yeah. So, a brief history of smut books. Smut books aren't new. Erotic literature dates back to Greek Rome, works like Satyricon feature bold sensuality. In the 18th century, Fanny Hill published boundaries through often. And Victorian England hid smut under strict moral codes, yet authors like Henry Spencer Ashby penned scandalous tales. The word is coming. I have to run my health away. Run! Oh. So, modern smut exploded with 50 Shades of Grey. Social media, like book talk, amplified the research, and today smut is mainstream. Celebrated in its openness, in its genre deep within its roots. History shows smut staying in power as it evolves in society. The warden is blind, but there are these things on the ground that when you step over them, it sends sound waves to trigger others. Now that's horror. That's horror. Minecraft with horror. It was always creepy with Enderman and Creepers, but I had some horror elements, but that sounds downright horror. Jeez. Now, watch your traps. It'll set off more sound and bring them here. Maybe. Well, I think my problem with playing Minecraft is because it's not well supported on outside of the Microsoft programs. So it's like, when you step it around the sensor, it goes off into a shrieker, and the shriek will 3 times, and then the ward will call out. The grounds come after you. Okay, I know about shriekers. I never faced them, but I've seen other people play around in those environments. So I've never come across a shrieker, but I know of them. So, yeah, smut versus erotica, clearing the confusion. Erotica aims to engage intellectually, emotionally, and exploiting sexually complexities. It balances plot, characters, and sensuality. Smut is more direct. So, effectively what this is drawing at, what we're seeing in women's literature and fiction right now, is the rise of smut. It's literally smut. It's not erotica. It's not, fictionalized romanticism. It's just unadulterated sex, which sex sells. I can't argue with that. Sex sells. But yeah, when you step around the sensor and it goes off into a shrieker, it'll shriek 3 times. Okay, we already covered that one. From your massive there, White Spider. Popular genres of smut books. Romance smut. Romance blends love and lust. Features steamy scenes with romantic plots. Think Bridgerton. With its regency passion, and the books deliver heart, heat, and perfect, helpless romance. fantasy smut. Fantasy smut whisks readers to magical realms. Think fae courts with vampire dens. A Court of Thorns and Rose by Sarah J. Maas is a fan favorite. It mixes erotic world building with sizzling encounters. Thriller smut. Thriller smut pairs suspension with passion. Murder mystery might spark a heated affair. These books often keep you guessing and blushing. The danger amps often its instantly. I'm probably more disturbed with thriller smut than I would have any of these other smuts. Sci-fi smut. Sci-fi smut explores futuristic or alien worlds. Think interstellar romances or android love affairs. Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon delivers quirky, steamy fun. It's bold and imaginative. Readers crave the unknown. It's out-of-the-world spice. And then, historical smut. Historical smut sets passion in past. The Regency balls or Viking raids turn sultry. Outlander by Diane Gabaldon blends in time travel and romance. It's rich historical detail. So Zeus. Yep. It's the kind of smut that is making the top-selling books these days. But yeah, I'm not gonna blame the authors for this being prolific. I will say, I don't feel they're creative, but they don't need to be to make their money. They just need to be like haughty romance. I will blame the dumbing of society, and we've kind of covered this a few times with different topics. It's like, yes, our society's a bit dumber, and a lot of it is also right by the way, and what I tend to write is dating manuals are for fantasy creatures. Okay, white spider, all right. So you fit. If dating would be romance, these are just sexual trends. That's all these are. But this is what's, big. So I don't know how sexualized you get, but you'd be falling into the same category with that. So, yeah, this is what sells. Are you insulting? No. I'm not insulting you. I'm saying I don't know what you've written because I haven't read it, but I feel unless you're writing literally about, and the book we're talking about literally is about milking the cocks of Minotaur. Okay. It is not at all romantic. It is all about that. Yes. This is the New York Times bestseller right now. That's what we're going into. That is what's around there. So every one of my manuals start attracting said creature. I mean, it might be fine. If you want, you can message me through any of the socials. They appear in the lower right here. You can send me a link, and I'll be happy to read whatever you got. I mean, it's great. I always want to read somebody else. With goblins, you should walk into a forest with gold, and so on and so forth. Okay, yeah, I mean, that kind of fantasy element really plays into, building your world a little bit. And that's fine. Absolutely fine. Build up your world. You need to establish a world, especially when it's not the same as our real world. So, I'll never make my dating manual steamy because that just disgusts me. Yeah, I got you there. I got you there. And I will never write smut. And I've talked about this at the beginning. And it's like, smut is not my cup of tea. It's not how I write. But I will conclude tonight's stream. So this is going to take a while for me to do. I am going to actually read a chapter from 11 Kingdoms for y'all. It is the pinnacle chapter, chapter 8, of a book simply called The Meeting of Kingdoms. So, report. Meeting of the Kingdoms. Accessing personal logs. Princess Fawn Mid. Alternative source. Personal logs of JB Eve. Frustration fills my head as eyes lock onto me. Are you deaf, woman? Gavin shouts at me, as his only computer-aided Jenna voice can place ringing in my ears. We've been helping them learn for the last 55 hours. Gavin, I need a break. My head hurts. More so listening to you sing those god-awful dwarven hymns of yours. I try to look through the sea, inches from my face screen inches from my face, and sigh. The fact that my aspirin bottle in my room is empty. He has 3 hours downtime to be enough for the Thai rest or for to rest. I didn't have the heart to tell him that trying to understand his words was more responsible for the migraine I now sported. Instead, I needlessly wrote, "Help me," in messages private to Melissa. But knowing the trouble we caused the days earlier, Melissa was stuck trying to be the model employee, dealing with issues in the game as they arose. Look, I just need a few hours of sleep. That's all I'm asking for. I have that damn meeting tonight, and I need as much sleep as possible to handle those guys. I say, rubbing my temples of my head as I pray for the pain to go away. To be our job, to make sure the freshies understand how to go about the kingdom, he responds, as I bash Fawn's head down across the table. The two of us have been sitting at. I feel small rumble of the helmet, giving me a sense of meeting, an object I can't pass through. If I haven't been working with this character of Gavin's for months, I wouldn't know what he meant by freshies. It was his slang term for a new player. The game and art barely knew which end of the sword to use. As for in-game characters, we had a responsibility to teach the new players the beta how to play the game. Mind you, we have done that for the last 2 days, with mere short breaks for food, restroom trips, and sleep. Gavin was my assistant, and Fawn's godfather has yet to leave my side, as he feels it would be too easy to slip out of character. But now, the very idea of Fawn's bed is looking just as good as my own, if not better. Look, all I want is 6 hours, okay? I mean, we aren't getting new people anymore. It's these people, only these people for the next 2 months. If they don't know how to buy weapons or put on armor or level up by now, they never will. New people keep showing up, you replied, in hopes of winning in the argument we're having. No, new characters are showing. It's the same players. It's just new characters. People are going through thinking they missed something in the creation and restart with hopes of a more powerful character type or a new class. I get a stern look from Gavin for speaking out the character and about the game in general. The look is broken as speeding NPC that is computer controlled comes running up in a cloud of dust to pronounce his reason for being there in a hurry. I have a message for Prince Fong. I reach out and accept the letter, open it up, reading it out loud. Love the cover art. Thank you. It's a request of the gods on high in public relations office. The princesses proceed and take part in test of skill before the crowds of a battle arena in the capital of Mid and Noyax in 1 hour. The session will be broadcast across the network. Well, it looks like I get to leave, but not rest. I sighed in partial relief that I'll be away from at least a brief time. From Gavin's side. What? Why do they want you? Gavin stands with shock on his face. Because I am the great hero, the Princess of the Midnight Star. Why else would they want me to take part? Just show off the power of the strong character, I'm sure. I let out a whistle and my horse Caramel comes running up. I quickly, in an act to free myself from Gavin, leap on it. Once I'm done, I need to take some downtime to prepare for the meeting at the note later. So, from here on, you need to run any questions of your freshies may have. I wrote off him hearing him respond, but in instant message, he gave me his feelings in one word. Traitor. I made it to the arena and pulled Caramel in. I looked over the details of the walls and the carvings I placed on some of the reliefs. I walked us to the gate and watched 6 players were holding their makeshift events, fighting for the rights of a magical sword they found. Their fighting was paused when the booming announcement of the event spread across the land. In 1 hour, there will be a demonstration of battle between Princess Fawn and a monster from the northern frost jungle at the Noyax Battle Arena. All are welcome to watch the great hero battle for her life. A loud boom faded as I watched one of the key players took advantage of the distraction by others by stabbing them unaware. 2 of the 6 fall, fading from the arena floor, leaving 4 in the bottom. I lead them in the brief battle as I head off to the champions, the prep room. There I sit down and take a short nap after informing the NPC squire to wake me in the time for the fight. I feel worse than when the alarm of the squire was going off, waking me from my nap in the chair. The screen was blurry at first, but I see that in my sleep the squire had brightened my armor plate I wear to present the best look of the upcoming performance. Rising to my feet, I move on to the gate, listening to the noise of the crowd gather around the arena. I see not only members of the Black Kingdom, but also the players from both Blue and Gold, as well as a few others from neighboring rival Red, including one man. A man I would rather be facing in the arena at this time. Red Kingdom's hero Min Gang. I haven't had much time dealing with my Chinese counterpart. This is our competition before the judges. But he was reprimanded along with several others from his team, while sharing game info with their home countries to gain an edge in the scoring on the boards. So now he's looking more weakened than I was. Rask weighed on us on him. The man was a snake if I ever knew one. And worse, he despised the fact that a woman like me is held in a higher ranking in the game than he is. I returned to the task at hand when the announcer broke in and across the sky with an announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, of all across the 11 kingdoms and beyond, welcome to today's first event. The battle arena throughout each of the 11 kingdoms is the place not only to resolve disputes, but also host great events like the ones we have for you here today. In honor of the opening of the new world, to you, the players, we have set up a death match. This match will be between the powerful monster of the savage northern frost jungle and the great hero, the princess of the kingdom of Noyox. On mid. The announcer could have very well gone on the air, but it would have been pointless over the loud cheers of the crowd and the crunching noises of gears of the opening of the gate before me. The cheers grew louder, but I kept my eyes on Min, who was presenting his thumbs down as well as a sour look at me, including his gesture. I took a turn around at the packed arena, given I had a few NPCs set up in the audience at times. But it was always a packed setting, would cause a fire inspector to and any venue to freak out, and possible threat of a panic stampede or structural housing issues of the building. The voice continues as the distant gate where the monsters opens. Our chosen opponent for this match is a Polo Taylor Jack. Sorry, I am having some issues reading this for some reason. Issues reading in general, I guess. I've never seen a Kobo Jack, let alone a polar one. But when a small white rabbit hopped out of the cage, I felt someone was playing a joke on me. The crowd started erupting in laughter at the fight, but suddenly the ground out from the cage starts erupting with icy spikes. A hole breaks open, claiming the little rabbit, killing it instantly in the ice. Cracks, and suddenly a large blue plant creature with the head of a T-Rex comes bursting from the ground, causing its quick grasp from a gasp from the crowd. As near loosening of my bowels, I look at this strange green flicker across it, reminding me of the boar in the woods the other day. I chose to be the day I chose to be a magehead. Ugh. Well, I guess you're a little more powerful than a bunny. I try to joke, mainly trying to ease my nerves as I track the flame fists, engulfing my hands in fire. But I haven't fallen yet in battle, and I'm not about to lose to a freezer-burned veggie. Eat me now. It makes the first move, diving at me and tunneling as quickly as it dodged past my attack. While it has a body of a Quinn and head of a Dinosaur, it's acting more like a sandworm or fish, leaping in and out of the ground. Only over the line of spiky ice, up as showing where the movements of the ground. I've learned it's a hard way. It got my left arm, briefly, before raising from the ground. I feel a sudden shock, but worse, an odd sting on my arm in the chair. Just on the task at hand, I decided fighting on the ground made me a better target for him. So I activated the fight spell, spotting feathers of light, and took to the sky, watching the ice form in a spot I once stood. The creature leapt from its hidden location in vain attempt to get me. The creature flops in midair. I take a chance to strike, blasting a volley of fireballs at it, causing it to show severe burns across its fleshy face. Parts begin to slowly burn away, but the damage does little more than detain it from trying to attack me, as I stay out of its reach. I try to keep the volley each time he bursts up in an attempt to reach me, but the little damage it continues to do is nothing to be such a simple fight as once thought. Before I knew it, my flight spell had worn off. I find myself falling to the ground, with the creature's movements making an effort to snag me as I fall. I grasp both hands and focus on the flame that they create, and start spinning in my fall, in hopes of causing much damage as I can on the way down, before the crash alone hurts my hit points. But my pain was just as good as the instinct of the creature. As it opens its maw wide, receiving me in its gullet, closing shut, a new gasp is made from the crowd as the great hero has fallen. Or so it looked for a few seconds, till a loud bursting crash at the ground of flame as my body slid out down its throat, unwillingly. created a new opening in the monster's plant body. The beast let out a scream and turned its face to me. Guess you're not gonna die easily, huh? I reached into my character inventory and summoned forth my battle staff, Ebony Heart. The beast lunges at me, but I'm too fast for it. Hitting it, knocking its head skyward, shaking off the blow. It tries to striking at me on two sides by latching its tail at my right and striking my head, or striking its head at my left. But quickly I activated the spell's Inferno Aura. As the flame spins around my body and burns the tail of the beast off as the blow goes to strike. Its head must be different substance, as it was able to slam into my side, knocking me on a spiral of flame, giving me another shock, and once again, a sharp pain hits my body. That's just from the shock. No, it was from a cold, forceful blow on my left side of my body. All that remained moving was a small stub of the monster's body and its head. It was still alive. Gathering my feet, I watched as it tried to move about the ground, moving its jaw. But its speed was greatly depleted, and I moved quickly to position myself where I couldn't quickly strike. I slammed against my staff, or slammed the attack of my staff, wholly engulfed in the magical flame, splitting the monster's skull in half, allowing a rush of flame disperse. The monsters begin to fade, and the crowd erupts in loud cheers as I turn to look at where men sat. I don't see him in the seat. When the announcer proclaims, "Winner of the death match, Princess Fawn Mitten." I fall on my knees when hearing the loud cheers out of the crowds and start to take note in the pain in my arm. I pull my right arm out of the cage it sits in. Then with my free arm, I reach to the left caged arm and wipe the liquid dripping from it. I bring it before my face and under the screen, where I see a pale red on my fingers. I'm bleeding. Somehow during the battle, I hurt myself in the chair. This was odd. Never ever I hurt myself in the chair, merely playing the game. Something was wrong. My attention was pulled away as I hear a sudden gasp of the crowd. Look upon the screen and see what people are suddenly converging their attention on. Looking around, I see the crowds looking up at the sky. Turn the gaze to look as well, where the sky has written some weird type of mangled letters. It was the phrase, "Thou shalt not worship false idols." Instantly, I'm getting messages from the staff, all asking if I'm okay. Worried that this is merely a person's joke, I tell them I'm fine. I choose to ignore the dripping blood from my arm. In response, I walk out of the arena, get up on Caramel, and ride to the palace. Once in the bedroom, I sign off to make my way out of the chair to assess the damage on my arm. The throbbing pain makes me wish I had aspirin. Even now, more now, as I move the bedroom, turning the light on, the arm has a small cut, which is the first and main thing I expected to find. While investigating, I saw the skin around the cut was whitish pale blue, fading a hue of a maroon, and very cold to the touch. In some way, it was a blessing, as the cut was bleeding slowly due to the frozen mark. But what on the chair would have given my skin the look of frostbite? I look at my body a little closer, discovering the bruises along the left side. Both wounds match the ones Fawn took in the fight. But why now? Why now? I fought regularly, and I received was a static shock to the back of my neck. It could be green lines on a creature, as I recall only the boar had them before. I think back to the day and remember hearing about some injuries the staff took during the battle with the boar. Could the green lines mean that creatures can do more than shock us in real life? This damage is more severe and harder to believe than entries that others have reported. Who is behind this? How is this even possible? I want to tell someone, but who would believe me? Sure, technology can affect the body and motion, and read electrical motions in the person's brain, but nowhere could it cause someone to suffer frostbite without anything cold causing it. I decided to keep it to myself, and if more issues arise, I would report them what would happen. A small scratch from a frostbite isn't enough to raise alarm for now. My lack of supplies to clean the wound and deal with the pain has me needing to head out of my room. Security instantly at my side from the moment I leave my apartment. I make my way to the spare room where Rick's wife and child were staying. Knocking on the door. The door opens and the disheveled woman answers the door. Oh, Sammy, can I help you? Rich is in the game, shouldn't you? She stops with her question when she sees my arm with blood. Yeah, I had to get out of the chair for a bit. Kinda hurt my arm. I'm all out of bandages and aspirin. I was wondering if you had me. I placed a goofy smile, trying to hide the injury from too many prying questions. Well, there's the clinic downstairs. She pauses and thinks through her statement, remembering how I was not allowed to leave the floor. Never mind. I think I have something. Come on in. I'll clean that wound and dress it. I walk in, look at a room similar to mine. Only this room is filled with crayon drawings. A small plate of a half-eaten sandwich, with carrot sticks sitting on the table. As young Lily lies in front of the TV, playing highlights of the game. She's been set to see her father's character pop up, but they were all focused on your actions earlier. I watch as Lily looks up from the screen. She says, Hi, Jamie. Do you like the princess fight the monster? I guess she doesn't know I'm the princess. So I chuckle at being in the room of one of the few people in the world who doesn't know that yet. No, I was busy taking care of some things. Was it good? I replied to my young fan. It was awesome. I smile as she bounces up and down. Lily, that's enough. Go finish your sandwich. I need to help Jamie with something, okay? Lily's mother's stern voice reminded me of my mother. I followed her in the bathroom and she pulls out a med kit under the sink. Grabbing a bottle of alcohol and a towel, she pours a small amount, pressing it to my arm. The sting gives me a singe in pain. Oh, please. Lily's braver than you. Hardly hard to believe you didn't save one fighting a few minutes ago. She wipes away the blood and places a cotton pad on my wound. Suddenly, she pulls out a can of the spray vinyl. Spray on my arm. A small collection hits my arm and the vinyl hardens and around like a cotton pad around the cotton pad. Well, that should keep the infection from getting in it. So you peeled it off. As for the aspirin, here. She hands me a bottle. I have extra. Lily's pretty loud when she gets excited or upset, so I buy these in bulk. Look, take it easy, okay? I know the company's pushing you all to work hard now, but don't keep injuring yourself like that. I'll try. The company has me set up for a day off after tonight's event. Even Rick likes to tune me out. I think I will spend the day sleeping in my bed, cleaning the place up. I reply with a sense of ease. She doesn't pry too much as to how I got the injury. I walk back through and watch Lily as she bites of her sandwich, which has gone untouched until the two of us return to the room. Making my way back to the room, I slump on my bed and nap for a few hours before the ringing from the chair wakes me. Looking up at the clock, I see I slept for 4 hours. Now I have to go to the meeting at the Nook. Making my way to the chair, I quickly slide in and log in. Perhaps it's not fast enough or so, as I have Gavin waiting in Fawn's bedroom for me the time the world fades into view. You sure took your time, girl. He's got 5 minutes to work there, the grumpy dwarf proclaims. I make my way to the mirror in Fawn's room, tap the pattern. Shut it, Gavin. The mirror is already set to send us there instantly. Computer access code Alpha Gamma 074. Access warp Nook of Alliance. The mirror glows, and both of us step through the forested area outside the Nook. There stood a collection of players of each tower, waiting to be announced to enter the room. A small goblin coughs and looks at me and Gavin. Got to see the Princess of Noyax joins us finally, because you're first to go in. I look to see Min snarl at his appearance. At her, I try to ignore Gavin's grumbling under his breath. I told you we were running late. In the distance, a sound of fanfare is heard, pronouncing the opening of the events. The speaker pronounces the opening of the events. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the second event with the opening of the Meeting of the Heroes. The event will hold a meeting of the greatest warriors in the land, discuss the events taking place in the world. The speaker is silent for a moment, and I find my character slowly moving without choice forward. I look behind me, and the goblin is pushing me to the door. You're on, princess. And you, too, Mushmouth. You follow in with her and sit behind her, please. Great round table. Trumpets sound off in the fanfare, and suddenly the voice calls out, From Noyax's kingdom, the warrior of the midnight star, Princess Fawn. I walk out into the cleared area of the forest, with a large stone table with 4 sections and of a staircase who lets people walk upon the table, within 12 sitting and 11 segments, and an open fire pit in the middle of the table. Many of the chairs surround the area for the followers and the other select people from the towers to sit. I follow the table around and find the place bearing the Noyax royal crest. I take my seat. No sooner after I take my seat, they announce the new name. Contobo Kingdom, Knight of the Moon, General Mikov. I watch as the large Russian enters the area, takes a seat next to me, or one of our rival gang groups. Mikov has always been kind to me in the few interactions. He has a sense of trust he is willing to lend, even though his earlier showing in our first meeting showed his trust ends when it comes to his alliance with the Red and Orange Kingdoms. I watch as the massive blonde man smirks and takes a seat. From Azure Kingdom, hero of the surf, Councilman Reeks. I try to ignore the suave, blonde, unshaven man in a fancy tunic with a flowing cape as he flashes a smile. He makes his way to the chair that Mikov is sitting, and strikes up a conversation with him. Hey, comrade, you mind switching places? I'd like to be next to my woman. The man gives him a look and looks at me, shaking my head no, in response to the large grin. Sorry, my man, but your seat is right there. The smile on Reach fades as he takes a seat. Uneasiness fills his face with me. Next, name is called. From Strong Kingdom, Quake Walker, Priestess Cassandra. I watch as Cass walks in on an odd display of what a starlet would likely wear the night out of the public eye, draped on her normally hulking bovine body. She snorts in my direction, though I can't tell if it's a good thing or bad. The two of us have gotten along okay in interactions. We shared and built the borders of our kingdoms. I find her to be rather a peaceful person who prefers work alone on tasks. She also has a habit of singing songs while she works. I'm looking forward to her on clips of the reality show releases. Though calls for song royalties may cause her to be cut now and then from singing too often. Cass takes her seat as Reeks sighs, placing his hand in his head. Or his head in his hands, excuse me. From Crystalline Kingdom, the mystic angel, Princess Kylie. This is the one woman I wish I knew more about. All I found out about her is that she's originally from Sydney. I've asked others about Kylie, yet everyone agrees. The third-ranked hero remains a mystery, keeping to herself for the most part. She walks with her wings decorated all about her jewels. She folds her wings and takes part in her seat next to Cass. Before I forget, thank you for White Spider for the photo. From Citron Kingdom, Rider of the Wind, Prince Nassam. The heavy-robed Nassam appears, walking with a walking staff. I recognize his choice of robes and stick to match an outfit I saw in the movie. The film was once shown in college history classes when we studied the First World War. He nods at Kylie before taking his seat, looking down at the table at me. His covered face makes it hard for me to acknowledge any emotion other than a strong stare, given that I'm a member of our rival alliance. I'm sure he's sizing up my skills since the time he saw me the last battle. From Brunloud Kingdom, Spirit Talker, Prince Malak. Malak has an exchange in his normal attire of a simple loincloth for a much more elaborate collection of furs draped across him, with the heads of beasts staring down at my soul looking on. While many have had doubts about Malak's experience in the group of the heroes to be in question, when the numbers finally came out, Malak was 5th place number based on skills and level, making the other heroes play catch-up, the newest recruit of the great grand heroes. From Himmer's Kingdom, Blood Dance Warrior, Princess Grendel. The red gelatinous face of Grendel had been adorned with the traditional outfit of her country, Germany. She reminded me of the concept I often saw during the fall and Oktoberfest events throughout town during my later years. From Agro Kingdom, the Dawn and Dusk Twin Princesses, Emmy and Amayo. I watch as Emmy and Amayo enter the arena. Emmy smiles and waves in my direction. I wave back. The two girls take their seats next to each other. Under the sign of the kingdom, gone are the normal matching outfits, replaced with bookend kimonos. My eyes lay on Amado, who keeps her eyes fixed in the center, where the flame pit stirs, seems focused on something around the table. From Marion Kingdom, the nature-born Duke Savo. Savo enters in with a tight-fitting outfit with the uniforms we saw in the Renaissance Guards that were in Italy or Spain. The only difference was being seen to overdo it on the jewels, placing them every naked inch of material that hasn't been highlighted by gold stitching of the outfit. He cackles a smile at the group and takes his seat. From Lumiere Kingdom, the fallen dragon prince Min Gay. I watch as Min is the last of the heroes to walk in. He places his ornate armor on as he tries to best the walk-in sense of superior dignity above the rest of us, in which many ways could be said of the second most powerful hero in the game. Only I knew very well this look is only meant to be on display to the one who outranks him, me. I was hoping to be placed near the great warrior. Instead, they put me next to the horror of Noyox. While most of the attitudes and words I share based off script, I'm dealing with mid. When he's like this, it's hard for me to play. Or it's not hard for me to play on this one with ease. Wow. Really? Whore? Is the best you can come up with? Oh, wait. Excuse me. Your pea brain is so small to recall. Just who beat the monster today in the arena? I step back. I saw the pathetic display of a weakling little girl. If you were in the arena, I would have had it beat in 2 blows. I swear, it's me reading this. It's me reading this. Sorry. Looking at the smog of his boast, I take a chance to respond. You don't take down a tavern rat before. Min jumps into the seat and stares me down from standing height, when suddenly a voice calls out. Spam bot on kick. Yay, spam bot. Settle down, heroes. Now is not the time for fighting. The flame erupts. Out of them stands the body of a very old elf. Considering all the tales of elves that are forever looking young, one could only guess that this guy is centuries old. Every few weeks, we plan to hold gatherings here, where the issues of the world will be discussed by the great heroes. In time, new heroes will be invited to this space to take part in the discussions. But since this is the first time the world has been just started, we will forgo each kingdom reporting in. Instead, we invite our guests to the events tonight. For tonight, the guest is the man who has brought us to this world, into this being. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kenshiro Masaru. He watches the flames switch color, an image of Masaru in a simple or same golden robes from when I last met him, the first time he appears from the flames. I welcome you all looking at this event throughout the world. The past few days, the first people have had the chance to take part in my latest creation, a fantasy world built on establishing alliances, friendships, and rivalries. A world that takes so much from our own homes of earth and mind and time. Many will come to explore the world that is far greater in size than just that of the living kingdom, excuse me. For beyond the sea lies the unexplored land and new dangers. The savage wilderness. Players must claim and build and hold those territories for their home countries. While players represent each of the kingdoms, they also represent each of their hometowns, countries, and more. Each week, leading players are offered deals to their hometown from Black Clover. The prize can be financially or something more precious such as food or supplies. While it may seem unfair to some weaker countries, character's level is not the only way we will be looking for points. Each player is measured on their actions as well as their skill. A player that is weak in level but fights for a just cause, those helping those in need, can get just as many, even more points than a player who walks in and kills a creature. Look around. I look around and see the most of the group paying attention to the whole words of the master, even though the heroes by now have all heard the speech many times over. And looking around, I notice Amayo isn't paying much attention either. I'm sure she's heard the speech more times than being one of the master's assistants. Emmy, on the other hand, looks to be unmoving. Wonder if she's actually in her chair. But if she wasn't, then neither would her character be right here. I continue to look at purposely avoiding the gaze of Reeks, who, out of the corner of my eye, blows me a kiss. I switch my gaze over at Min. I never really learned about him in person. just a jerk in the game. Soon he turns and looks at me with great disgust in his eyes. Quickly turn away and gaze and look back at Master Masaru. Gathered here today at this table stand the best of many different areas in the game, in different parts of the world. Some here hold similar dreams and goals. Others work to be better than each other at the table. The choice of this table was no mistake. In many ways, I wanted it to reflect the ideals and legends of King Arthur, where each person sitting at the table has an equal place. The fire in the middle is to show that all sides work equally, and as such are rewarded equally, given that they put the effort into their love into it. After the last war, we learned the bloodshed and violence, that there's equality, but as you note, there are only ones here and at this time that are great heroes. Thus, the table lacks something. It lacks fairness. Because fairness is a dream that cannot exist. While each here is treated fairly as the next, some want more than others have. So, in the very act of making things fair, the world should is still ripe for greed and war. The world has only been designed not to be fair. It will challenge each of these people and each person who joins it. Only those who strive to be something better will make it to the table. Only those who truly work hard will be honored with the title of the Grand Hero. I ask each of my Grand Heroes here to take a stand and place their right hand on the symbol of their kingdoms. I look around and see as Emmy and Amayo have already done so. Before any of us, perhaps knowing about the speech beforehand, it would call for such an action. Not trying to take a look out of place, I follow suit, placing my hand on the symbol of Noyats, the crest I had created some time ago. As I did, a faint light hits my hand. The light that comes forth and symbol represents your contributions, this world and how it is shaped. If you remove such a light, as follows. Masaru turns and nods at Andy and Amayo. They step away from the table, and the light of their symbols fade. Light from the fire dims with the symbol as well. Soon, should one leave the table, and the light of the world will fade, but go on burning. Should all but one leave the table, then the light will dim. I ask all but the Princess Fawn to leave the table. Each of the fathers is vice of Masaru. The lights fade and the flames dim. Soon all remains the small flame no bigger than a torch. The world suffers greatly from the light. Eventually it too will fade into darkness. This is what happens when the world focuses solely on the ideals of your lives and care not for the possible benefits of others can give. So I ask each of you that are watching in this world, is equality a responsibility and our light? Care for it as I have. Please return the lights to your fire. Each person goes about doing so in turn. And as they do, the light fills the area. Fire bringing on the surrounding area of light. But it's not just the fire bringing all the light. A new light appears from the entrance of the nook. A new light that is pale, bright pale green. Glowing red with two glowing red orbs. The group looks in shock. And to my surprise, even Emmy and Amayo look troubled as this. Masaru turns to look at the figure in puzzled look. What is this? The figure moves in to the flame. The body shows a wired frame of incompletion. Wide, which sways as it moves to walk up the stairs of the table. Master, this is not planned. What's going on? Shouts a frightened Emmy. Central, what's this program? Where's this coming from? Shouts an excited Reeks. Masaru, this makes no sense. What is this, some kind of test of our skills? Wishes Mikov. This is not part of my design. Masaru stands, looking over the figure, now stands eye to eye with his image. So the creature waves its hand, and Masaru's image breaks apart as the creature speaks. Computer. Disconnect image projection. The creature turns and looks at us all in turn. Quickly, I join Nin, Nikov, and Cassandra in preparing attacks. When the voice breaks over the area. This is the watch staff. This character is a foreign program. We do not know what it's doing or where it comes from. But all actions are failing to remove it, states a voice in heavens above. Emily replies to Central. Cut the broadcast feeds. Remove all non-staffed characters. The world will watch as I rise. The creature responds as it glares skyward. Central cuts in. It's got control of the broadcast. We can't cut the players active. Or we cut the players active. But it's still here. Well then, we have an unwanted hacker, states Min with a grin on his face. I can't help but feel the very man knowing for being a former hacker himself, may seem to know more about this new visitor than the other 11 of us in the Nook. What do you want, hacker? Marlith asked. Want? I want nothing from those that have taken from me. This is my world. I will reclaim it with the help of my children. The strange creature shrieks. The altered monsters in the arena. What are you doing? Or listen to me. The altered monsters like the one in the arena. What are you doing? I shout. And then note as the group stands puzzled with what I'm saying, that I get a nod from the creature. What do you mean, altered monsters? Min questions, but grabbing my arm and forcing me to look at him. His actions are strong. I feel a small shock from the damage he does in the grip. What do you know that we don't, Princess? The creature in the arena was altered. It was the second one I faced in the game. I thought it was just a glitch in the system. But after the damage it did to me from the fight, I could tell it wasn't normal. I was bleeding, I exclaimed. Cassandra is the first one to question my meaning. But we all bleed when we fight a monster. It's not what I mean, my response interrupted by the creature. We have touched her. The plague has felt her blood of this child, its false idol. Today we bathe in the sweet crimson from her earthly body. The creature exclaims, false idol. The words above the arena as reeks. A Bible verse. We know you're a pathetic coward hacker that likes to show off tricks, but dealing with what you should have easily when we hack. Then dealing with you should be easy when we hack your being apart, shouts Min, as he charges along with Mikov and Cassandra. But the creature waves its hand and the three are halted, as their forms become unmoving in a dead air. Computer. Disconnect Min, Mikov, and Cassandra. Suddenly, no sooner than when the creature states it, three pop out of existence in the Nook. This thing's powerful, states Grendel. Stay away from it. If you could sign off, do so now, shouts Emmy. I watch as Reeks and Emmy and Amayo sign off. I try, but the computer is responsive. Amayo, Fawn, sign off. Emmy shouts now. with tears forming in her eyes, and then suddenly pops out. I can't disconnect, I scream. Turn and look at Reeks, who's being unresponsive at this. If you must pull yourself from the chair, sister. The program, it's not normal. I feel it has a hidden power. Colors the unusually quiet Amayo. She suddenly vanishes all well. But I will stay and see what this thing can do. My own eyes, claims Reek. You're an idiot, Reeks, I scream, trying to pull my arm from the cage, but I feel sharp pain from my earlier injury, letting out a cry of pain. I open my eyes to see the creature's face move from light off its body and stand in front of my own. We are Dark Mistress. We are the plague. We are the gods of this world, and we will make you suffer like not before. Suddenly, I feel a slight shock to my neck as I go crashing to the ground from Reeks shoving me away from the creature. Computer, disconnect the player, Reeks. I will not let the false idol go so easily. Reeks pops out. I remain alone in the nook, face to face with the creature. I try ripping my arm free. Suddenly, when suddenly the restraint locks down tightly on my arm. You have deceived the world. You must be cleansed from both worlds. Never again will you infest my world. I hear the tower alarm sound. Perhaps the team started knows what's going on. But as I look on, I find not only that I cannot move in the chair, but I can't move on. I look as the creature's hand forms razor-sharp talons, sparking green light, and then suddenly the last thing I feel is a final shock to my neck, in such a way that my throat closes up, while my mouth is open, hopelessly trying to scream. Then everything black. File source end. Accessing linked source material. Security camera outside Onyx 47A. The building fire alarm goes off as the hands of Rick Mathers breaks the handle in an act of urgency. Alert! There's a fire in the building. Alert! Why did you have to flip that, Rick? Shouts a hysterical Melissa gone. We need as much manpower as we can. You guys get that door down yet? Rick shouts at the security guards, bashing to the door as he goes about picking the metal trash can in the air. To the air and them having a little effort. Or to aid them in a little effort, excuse me. But they all pause as the lights of the building flicker and muffled and scream when I hear from the room. No, this can't be happening, cries Melissa. Gavin, report. What's going on in the game? Shouts Rick. Signals drop. When the creature attacked Fawn. The combination of panic and his breathing causes the words to stagger out. An emergency personnel here, stat. We need to get this door open, hollers Rick, and Moses comes running in with a firing axe. Out of the way, Rick. Moses takes a large swing, splintering the door. Jamie, if you are... respond if you're okay. Jamie! The shock continues to knock out the camera's signal. Report end. Accessing next report. That is Chapter 8. The official event that leads to the plot of the story. Where I was doing a piss poor job reading. I assure you, when I come out with the audiobook, it's not gonna be me reading it. It's gonna be it's gonna be an automated system. It's gonna be AI, I think. It's what we're dealing with on this. So it's gonna be a different voice doing it that can read it actually properly. But yeah, that's 11 Kingdoms. 11 Kingdoms Chapter 8 out of 32 chapters. So yeah, that's when I talk about, wanting to create emotion and turmoil, and it has to play into a character versus just the lust. To sort of wrap this up in tonight's stream, it's when you develop a character, you want to have personality to them. You want them to be fleshed out. Sure, it can be silly things like in the story you have Mean Gang, who is the rival. Who's an ass, absolute ass throughout the story. He does show a better side later in the story, but he's meant to be this dark, sort of almost despising character to the audience. That's the way I designed it to be written, so that when you go about reading the story and learning about each character and how they develop in the story, that you see bits and pieces of them either through Fawn's eyes or, well, in the case of Mint Gang, it's always Fawn's eyes, although you do get rumors and talk from other characters in the story. It's pretty much almost all 100% Fawn's eyes when it comes to characters in the game. And I wanted with the character, and it's the one thing I haven't added on this cover that I want to add, is Dark Mistress. And sort of in between the two figures. Which I was like, well, I want to create a villain, and I want to create an iconic villain. One that has a very horrific look to them. And I was like, well, it's a video game. Every character, it's in 3D, including my model that I'm using to speak to you, has a wireframe. And a wireframe is just line after line after line after line after line that forms a grid, that forms a mesh that eventually gets covered by textures and looks and how and lighting and all that. But to bring the horror element, I stripped that away. What helped me come to this concept, ironically, was playing Smash Brothers. In Smash Brothers, there is a mode where you fight wireframes of characters to, see how well you can play, whatnot. And I was like, I want this character to be developed, but that their textures are not on there. That their form is just this horrific set of lines with these glowing eyes, which would represent actually highlights in the eye when you do a wireframe or elements that move. And it's meant to give you that alienation of this person that is behind this all. And it's purposely meant to separate the audience from relating to the villain at all. It's designed that way. Then there are characters that I do in other series, like in Demon Blade. Then I may have a villain that has emotion. It is meant to be identified by the audience as having a downfall for a reason. And I use characters like Shin Yoku that's in the current story arc. He has a reason for why he's attacking, well, by Tetra, and it's essentially its story, but why he went about what he was doing. He has a reason. His life was not a pleasant one. Now we're talking about a period of the Tokugawa era, but pretty much the early Tokugawa era of Japan. And kind of an outcast from birth with him. So, when writing a character, you want to give it some flesh, you want to give it some life, and you want to give it plot. You want to give it the story, you want the character to affect the plot. Otherwise, you're just gonna have a book that's about a girl waking off minotaurs. That's it. I'm not saying that can't sell. It's clearly selling. Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's... I'm not one for a book like that. And I do hope people will read some of the novels out there that actually have plot, that actually have story. I mean, definitely. I want people out there reading my own stuff. Be it Demon Blade, be it Witchin', be it 11 Kingdoms. You know, or as I've said, I've also got another story that's working, and I've had a story I didn't work on. As I showed today, or talked about today. You know, the story coming after 11 Kingdoms, Shattered World of the Uninvited, very much a harder fantasy that I've ever done before, because it's me a lot more fantasy trope and elements there, but there's also going to be modern elements to the world, and I'm adding elements of science and mysticism and doing things to this world that are strange and beyond. But I don't want to give too much away on that, because that one's in the works. 11 Kingdoms been out before, so it's like I don't have to be like, oh well, it's never been released before. So yeah. So overall, do I feel the smut of Board and Glory, Milking Farm is hurtful? A little bit. I do feel it is hurtful to the mind that is definitely weakening, as we've talked before about reliance on AI to make us, write and listen and do, investigations and learn about things. I mean, too many people jump on stuff like Grok or ChatGPT and they're like, whoa, what is this? What is this? Explain it to me. And they have AI explain something without them going out and learning about it. And so, yeah. Overall, if you're reading Milking Glory or Morning Glory, Milking Farm, I'm not gonna, hurt. It's all good for you. You're reading. And I always say, I grew up with reading Rainbow. Being the thing around my childhood. Go out and read. Get a book. Investigate yourself for a news story. Develop your own story. So, White Spider joined us today. And I'm glad they, have their own writing that they're doing and whatnot. I welcome anybody to do that. I don't fear competition. I welcome it. It's how we continue to grow in our minds and whatnot. And we cannot rely on computers to tell us what our minds should think. We have to do the research ourselves. We have to develop. 11 Kingdoms. I was literally, when I wrote it, literally reading MIT science reports. That's how I came about writing 11 Kingdoms. And since I wrote 11 Kingdoms back in 2013, the Neuralink, link, apparently, yeah, voice doesn't carry that well, is a real thing. The very thing I talk about in the novel is a real thing. My name. So it's like, okay, Neuralink became a real thing. Now, is it to where it is in 11 Kingdoms? No. But it will get there. And so, I mean, it was stuff that I would read in these scientific journals and these reports. And it's like how missing limbs operate with a computer chip attached to your arm and your brain function and electric signals that your brain sends. And bringing that into a world of fantasy that I grew up reading with stuff like Tolkien or Terry Brooks books, or Discworld, one of my favorite read series and whatnot. It's that kind of element that helps create from, or helps you create from. And there's several stories I haven't brought out before. I mean, I've had the fortune of being a student of a professional science fiction writer back in my day in college on how to write a proper novel. But, I mean, the first step is just to write. Always to sit down and write. It helps stir the mind. So, yeah, as we kind of always support the creativity of the world, the creativity of the mind here on this stream, and we talk about topical issues and whatnot. I do want to thank everybody for joining in. I know these streams tend to not do as well as, say, our playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3. But yeah, I love these. And a lot of people wanted me to start streaming because of my art. They wanted to see me draw live. We got rid of the requests because a lot of people abused it. But yeah, I'm gonna keep doing these. I don't care if it's 3 views across all channels, or 3,000. I don't care. But if you have a story you want to share, absolutely send it to me. We have the socials always on our screen when we stream, so you can send us a message through Discord, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Anyway, you can send us a message, and I'll be happy to read your stuff. I've done it before for people. I've given advice to people on their writing, telling them stuff like, I do remember one person I told, got a good story here, but you need to be descriptive of the environment and of the people. So, because they were going into, descriptions, and people are like, okay, I don't know where I am or what I'm looking at in the story. You need to bring small elements. Typically, it helps bring the elements that people can identify in the world, from their own life. So, that being said, as always, go out there and be the best you that you could be. Thank White Spider for joining in on Twitch. And I will thank the spam bot God 3432 on Kick for following as well. I'm not going to thank the other spam bot earlier, but yeah. I hope you all have a wonderful evening, a wonderful week, and a wonderful year. Yeah, night, everybody.
Lights go down streams and thanks for time we spent. Laughs and smiles all through night. With you, it feels just right. Signing off. Don't forget like, comment, some. Signing off. Ring the bell and show some out. Good vibes shared, a fun ride. With you, I'm filled with pride.